What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. For those of you who don't know, I'm Tyler and this is my 2012 Cayman. Since the last time that you guys have seen this build, there has been a lot of changes. We're gonna show you guys everything from start to finish, how this car left in the state that you saw it and then came back like this. Now, the last video that I put out, if you guys are unaware or haven't kept up with the channel, I released the color when it was finished being wrapped, and I was saying that I was prepping for SEMA, which was true. For those of you who are unaware with this whole build process, or if you haven't watched these videos in a while, let's kind of catch you guys up to speed. Taking it back from the very beginning, this is the 2012 Cayman that we started with. We knew we were going to wide body it, so we worked with Carmen to get the very first Carmen Cayman kit in Northern America, the second ever produced, but that did not come without its challenges. Just like any other wide body kit, we needed to cut the car, ruining a perfectly good Cayman. We installed reverse hardware on this kit, which turned out absolutely phenomenal. We needed to sand and cut to make everything fit. We installed bags on the thing. We sanded and did more body work to the point where we were ready for rep, which is where we left you guys off last. Now, the reason that I had to release this car well before I was ready to was because people were starting to release pictures and videos of this thing online. People were seeing it drive around, me transporting it between shops and the things that I was doing. And I just couldn't not release the video. Now that you guys are all caught up, let's show you guys what it took in this next stage to get the car ready to try and compete for SEMA. What's up? Last time we were working on this thing, we made those front underbelly trays and skid plates for the front bumper. Now we have to do the same thing for the rear bumper because this thing, as you guys can see, kind of flexes. What I've already done, you guys see this plate that's attached to this transmission brace back here? It already had holes in it, like there's one right here, but I've widened these two out right here and put rib nuts in them. I've done that on both sides. We're going to use these as mounts to chassis mount it, as well as I've made this bracket right here and this bracket. To be honest, I think that's going to be enough for the back, but we will find out. So if you guys didn't catch the last video where I was making the solid under trays for the front bumper, due to the fact that I have two sheets, I split them right in the middle and I try to make them symmetrical. So I made this cardboard template with all the exact mounting locations that we'll need. I've traced this out roughly for the bumper and then I cut it. I'm going to drill out all these holes and then I will bolt this up to the rear bumper and then I will trace it. Hopefully that made sense. Again, I believe our SEMA competition is going to be in September, so we are literally 2 months away from needing to compete with this thing. So hopefully we knock this all out and get this thing done. All of our holes are all drilled. Let's mount this huge ass sheet to the bumper. So here this thing is. It's huge. All of our mounting points worked. Now it's time to just trace out this bumper, cut this sheet, and then make the template for the other side. Alright, we have this flat tray mounted underneath. Let me show you exactly why kind of we do this. You see how much this flexes and wiggles. There's like a ton of play in this, and you can see that. You can see it flex in the whole bumper. Now, when we come to this side that has this string mounted, look how much more this is not going anywhere. You're not going to get any flex, and you can hit this and it's not going to bend. That's why you do that. We're going to protect everything. It's going to be mounted rigidly. It's going to be mounted solidly. You get what I'm saying. It's going to mount, it's not going to flex. We don't have to worry about cracks. And it's going to add so much structural integrity to this bumper. Now let's get the other side done. Two trays done. If we line these things up, they are perfectly symmetrical. Let's get these things bolted onto the car. It's been a long day and I'm exhausted, but we finally got the under trays bolted up in the rear. And this thing is done, at least for the under trays. Again, the test. That doesn't bend. Test right here. No more wiggling. This thing is rock solid. Right here, you can hit this as hard as you want. That's not moving anywhere. The whole backside of this car is now solid, and I feel great about this. I don't think this is gonna move when we drive anymore. I don't think if we have any cracks or anything that we're gonna run into any issues that they're gonna continue to grow. This is good. I'm tired. I'm like oddly sore and exhausted. This is another check mark off the box, getting something done on this car. We're making some progress. We have a lot of things to cover. We are competing again in the Young Guns Battle of the Builders for SEMA this year in 2022, and our regional division is coming up in September. It gives us about 2 months to finish this car, or close, enough to compete. So what are things that still need to get checked off the checklist? Well, 1, we need to build a rear bash bar. We have nothing to support the rear bumper or the license plate. 2, we need to get the bumpers smooth. I've already done tons and tons of body work to make sure that this stuff fits properly. And now that that's done, we just need to make them smooth. Also, big thing that's going to be the most time consuming is getting this front splitter, side skirts, and rear diffuser and wing deck all prepped and ready for carbon fiber. That's going to be the biggest task right now, because that needs to happen simultaneously while this car is getting wrapped, and we're not even close to getting that done. So we got to work on getting this front splitter unmounted and repair some of these cracks. There's a ton of work that we need to do in a short time window. Hope you guys are ready for the ride. So I'm gonna try and get as much done as we can today. The first and foremost thing that we're gonna work on is the rear bash bar. So we need to get all of our measurements for the bash bar, license plate mount, everything, so that we can draw these up in Fusion 360, send those off to get cut, and then welded and put into place. So let's work on that. Okay, first thing with building the rear bash bar that we have to understand here, the factory mount. This bolts onto the car, and then the factory crash bar has a main bar that goes across. We're not gonna build ours like that. We're gonna build ours like kind of one of those drift bars where it's just one thing all the way across, welded, bolts in. Also, what we're gonna do is build a license plate mount off of that bash bar, because I don't wanna bolt it into the rear bumper. I'm gonna get to taking measurements real quick, and I'm gonna show you guys how I do that. The idea here is to get a rough idea in 3-dimensional space as to where we're gonna put these things. So what I'm gonna do is, we have these 2 mounts right here. I'm gonna measure the two most inner spaces together, and then the 2 outer spaces right here on the mounts on both sides, so we know how far a distance so far apart they are, and so that we can kind of make our own mounts. It's a little bit overkill, but I just want to make sure that everything is square. And so we're gonna roughly sketch what our mounts look like real quick. So if this makes sense, this is my outer distance, this is my inner distance. We just took all of the measurements that we need for the mounting points, the distance, and everything like that for the bash bar and license plate mount. I'm gonna continue working on the car, obviously, but for continuity purposes, let's jump right into Fusion 360 and build this bash bar. Jumping right into Fusion 360, as you guys can see, we started off on the flat plane right here. At this point, I'm extremely basic at Fusion 360, so I started off by just making the rectangle the proper dimensions of what we had taken. I made the 2 mounting holes for the bolts to go through and actually bolt these to the chassis, and then I worked on, making cutaways to give me that flange-like shape. Once I made one of these mounts, what I ended up doing was duplicating it and then moving it the proper distance away from each other to simulate in 3-dimensional space what it would actually look like on the car. As you guys can see, this is what the flange looks like at its final state. This is, again, like I said, I duplicate that. You guys can see that right here, and then I just move it the proper distance. again, I just want to reiterate how very basic and brand new I am to Fusion 360 at this point. This is one of the first projects that I was doing, learning how to make this. So me making tubes at this point is literally making a circle and extruding the circle and making it into a bar. And then later on I learned how to like bend them and make them and join them and actually make these bars. But at this point, very basic, but you get the idea. Gave me the proper dimensions and size as to what I wanted and what it needed to look like in order to make this happen. Another thing that I needed to focus on was how to make the license plate mount. As you guys can see here, I made this tube that kind of extends off of it, and then made this license plate bracket that would be welded onto here. That's not where it ended up. I ended up making this super modular and having this all be able to come apart and bolt together so that wouldn't have this giant piece on it, but you kind of get the idea. There was a license plate mount that's like this, and then later on I actually made a license plate light. You know, the license plate lights that light up your license plate at night so that you don't get a ticket. I ended up making a flange off that, putting LED strips, and making an actual legal license plate light. Yeah, okay, you guys get the idea. Obviously, I have no idea at the moment, but hopefully the bash bar came out absolutely sick and everything's gonna be perfect. Comment down below if you guys think this is sick, if you guys appreciate me making some things in Fusion 360. I intend to show you guys a lot more of the process of how I've been learning to do all these things and make this. If you're interested, comment down below. But now we're gonna be moving on to the front end because the front splitter is the one that needs the most work and the under trays still need to be trimmed for the front. So that's what we're gonna work on right now, next task. First, I'm gonna move this bad boy. Cheesy. Let's just move this thing. Let's get a cold start for the boys though, and ladies who are watching. Alright, so the splitter is off. We have the driver side underbelly, passenger side underbelly pan. We have our cut lines all the way across. What I'm going to be working on right now is, if you guys can see, this is cracked pretty good right here. And we are going to be skinning this in carbon fiber. So what I really need to do is just make this solid and structurally sound, and that the shape is correct. This is all sanded, cracks are sanded and prepped. We have this all on the other side. All right, so the under trays are now trimmed. We have some really crazy Bondo work over here. This got out of hand real quick. That's okay. What we're gonna do right now is sand this thing down. We're chipping away at our Young Guns journey. Remember the last video, we pulled off our front splitter over here. We did a little bit of like repairs and everything on here, which have to get sanded down and whatnot. And today what we're gonna be doing is pulling off this rear diffuser, which is already done, and I have filmed for you guys, but I did not have the microphone on. Big rip. Pulled this off, and now we are going to be pulling off the side skirts. Getting these prepped. We're gonna be bringing these down to my buddy Hector. As much as I would love to do this 100% all by myself, I just do not have the time. I need to have both of these things kind of working simultaneously. So we're outsourcing a little bit of help. We're still gonna be doing the carbon fiber work ourselves, documenting everything and showing you guys, but Hector is gonna be primarily helping us get the fabric overlaid on top because we need to be competing in August/September. The official dates for the regionals for Young Guns has not been released yet, so I need to submit this thing. I need to submit all the renderings. I need to submit the final photos, and then where it's at right now, and then when the competition comes around in September and August, this is regionals just to place at Young Guns in November. I can compete at Young Guns in November and not go through the regional program. I would have to have a booth space, go in with a company, and then compete in the program that way. However, if we compete in the Young Guns and do their regional competition and we place and we win, we take a full ride, 100% expenses paid, trip to SEMA, and we get to compete. Free space. Paid for by SEMA, the organization. They put you in a hotel, they have you meet with all the heads of the SEMA organization, and they trailer this thing out there. So I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that we can win our regional for this division. Really hoping. But this thing needs to be done. So like I said, the time frame is really small. It is already July 28th, so August is really a week away, really. Comment down below. I've been appreciating all your guys' support. If you guys like these videos, interested in this video series, and interested inside the journey, please comment down below, share this video, give these YouTube video algorithms some like and something to be shareable, because these videos have been flopping. Now we're averaging like 400 or 500 views a video. I have no idea why the channel got super suppressed. Maybe that's because I don't put enough content out for you guys. Comment down below, let me know what I can do to help retain your guys' viewership. Cool, thanks. Anyways, now let's get to this.
I can't imagine. I mean, 15 seconds.
Yeah, it will not.
Imagine.
I didn't really film the entirety of taking this side skirt off and taking that. We have this splitter on the ground over here. What I've also done is made this fiberglass flange right here, and I'm gonna need that so that I can just bolt the two of these things together. I'll show you guys on the other side right here that you see how they don't quite marry very well. I'm making flanges so that I can bolt them together, and they're just gonna be perfect. What we're gonna do right now is trim this. It looks so naked. It like makes the car look less wide. It's pretty crazy. I kind of like the look without the side skirt and the air out, to be honest. These are splitters though. Look how sick this is. One more side to go. There are two big ass spiders in right here. These guys are alive. Oh. This is off. I sprayed this thing down to get all these spiders out of it, so this is now spider free, hopefully. Now it's time to get this skirt off. so things didn't quite go as planned. As you can see, this car is on the ground and this side is not on, and that is because we were building the flange. We did not leave enough time to do this during, obviously, when it was sunny, so it's taking a little bit longer to cure. So waiting for that to dry. We're just gonna come back tomorrow in the next clip. Wherever we left off last time, I think it was laying the fiberglass on the other side skirt, which is now cured and trimmed. Here is the flange on this side, and then I made the flange on this, so now they can be bolted together right there, which is perfect. I've already tested it out. Works great. Right now what we got to work on is building the flange on this flare, putting this whole skirt back on. Alright, so right now we've trimmed out our windows in here, so now these fit nicely with each other. The side skirt's bolted back on. What we have to do is build the flange on the back side right here so that they can bolt together on the inside. Cool. Hope that made sense. We got this fender bolted on, and look at that, a bolt in here now, if you guys can see this right there. And now look at the panel gap. It's like night and day better right here. Flush. When you look down like this, it's flush. Great gap. That was literally the last of the fiberglass work that needed to happen. Done. Now what we got to do is just take these flares back off, work on the bumper again, but this time it's not doing anything ridiculous. It is literally just cleaning it up and making it nice. Where we left it off, it's a bit rough. It has some deep scratches still in it. So I'm going to sand this down, make sure the shape and everything is correct, but the majority of it is. There's still just a little bit left that's not. And then finalize the rest of the body filler. Smooth passes. That's where we're at right now. Just body work. That's it. Which is great. A great feeling that this is done, like completely mounted. The under trays are done. This is a great point to feel like, ooh, August 8th is the day that this thing goes in to get wrapped. It is July 30th. So I have about a week to finish this body work, make this stuff smooth, and get this thing over to Wrap Legacy, which is very, very, very exciting, especially since we will be submitting our Young Guns application tonight, just for the preliminary ruling of everything that we've done to it so far and where it's intended to be at. And then for our Young Guns showing, we will have hopefully all of the carbon work done and the car one color, and that's gonna be a big win. That's gonna be it for right now. All right, catch you guys in the next video. I'm Maddie. Next time you guys see this, it's probably gonna be getting wrapped. So, peace. Comment down below, let me know what you guys think. I'm out of here. I'm gonna record you. Hello.
I hate you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. It's fucking
It's out early, Hector. There you go. Here's all my stuff.
Holy shit, that's a lot of parts.
Just for you.
Thanks. Appreciate it.
Okay. I just had to film that part for you, Hector.